Proverbs 16 and 6.
Yes, sir. Proverbs 16, verse number 6.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
By mercy and truth.
By what?
By mercy and truth.
By mercy and truth.
Iniquity is purged.
Iniquity is purged. Sin is purged by what? Mercy and truth. Okay. Read.
And by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil.
And by the fear of God, men depart from evil. We're showing you what? The wisdom of the ancients, of our forefathers, of what separated them, like Abraham and others, Christ, from the rest of the people. And by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. Right? So the fear of God is a key component in obtaining wisdom. Right? Because if you don't have the fear of God, what happens? Knowledge puffeth up. You'll start believing that this wisdom and everything you had came directly from yourself being some special being. No. Always give credit to the God who gave it. Not you saying, yeah, I've always this way. My mama told me that God had a hand on me, and right. You know, there was a veil. I was born with some skin over my eyes, and you know, and they already told me, nah. Okay, I hate to tell you, but that's superstitious. Okay, I'll just put it that way. I'm not going to disparage the relationship you have between your people, right. But it's superstitious. Okay. Let's go to Deuteronomy 4, verse 1. Deuteronomy 4, and we're going to go all the way down to the 9th verse, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 1.
Yes.
Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you.
Unto what?
Unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you.
Read.
For to do them, that ye may live, and go in and possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers giveth you.
So now he's given us governmental rules, right? On how to establish ourselves as a people. After wandering years in the wilderness coming out of Egypt, now the Most High has given us a code on how to live civilly amongst one another. Right? So he says, listen, hearken. I'll give you statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them that ye may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord thy God of your fathers giveth you. So it's nothing for the nations who have taken this information to come in later, colonize, set up whole civilizations and all that, because our forefathers gave our people the knowledge on how to do so and how to deal civilly amongst one another, judgments. But we're living in a society amongst ourselves where anything goes. But that's not allowed amongst other communities. They know that living like that is unsustainable. There must be a code that we're all on, that we're all standing on, to actually withstand what? The wiles of the devil, as well as the nations who are seeking to replace you. Read on.
Verse 2. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you.
Come on.
Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that followed Baal Peor, the Lord thy God hath destroyed them from among you.
Come on.
But ye did cleave unto the Lord your God, or ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day.
Everyone this day. When you see those, when it comes to seeing what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. And it talks about what? The divisive spirit that operates and looks to destroy our people. You'll always have someone who will come up and try to divide. Oh no, God said do it this way. And all this, only to self-grandize themselves. When it's about unity, unifying. Read.
But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day.
Come on.
Verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments.
Statutes and judgments.
Even as the Lord my God commanded me.
Read.
That ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
That you should do in the land whither you go to possess it. You as a people, the children of Israel, must have a code to abide by in my land, or you'll get expelled. And you notice, folks, this is why they allow chaos to go on amongst our communities that would never be allowed amongst theirs. Because at the end of it, according to history, is expulsion. If you allow debauchery, sin, wickedness to abide within a community, it won't be too long before you are expelled and or replaced. This is what we're suffering right now that has nothing to do with other people. If we were on code, there would be no property or areas for them to regentrify. I need y'all to think about that. We want to talk about what their plans are, but not going into the sin that allow their plans to take place. I need y'all to think about that. In order for them to regentrify, oh man, they're trying to move us out of the way. In order for them to regentrify and plan to replace you, that's right, folks. Think about this. The demoralization or lack of care in the community automatically lowers the value of the properties for them to come in and get it for cheap before, that's right, regentrifying, which justify them raising the tax and the cost of living in the area. Right up under us. But if you had a moral code with statutes where we had the law of cleanliness, we had the law of community, and all that the Most High gave the Hebrews, there would be no depreciation of the areas we're living in. It would appreciate, a matter of fact. So this is what people aren't saying when in the conscious community and others, when they talk about, man, regentrification. They're not even letting you know that it's the immoral conduct without wisdom that leads to them being able to replace us. And I'm not saying what these other nations are doing in conspiring against us is right. What I'm saying is, what are we doing within what? The power we have to control. What are we doing within ourselves on the outside of those who are seeking to replace us? You have something?
Yes, sir.
Read that.
All right. This is the book of Judith. I want to say the 5th chapter.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let me get straight to the point.
Yeah, chapter and verse.
This is the book of Judith in the Apocrypha.
Judith in the Apocrypha. I'll pull it here.
Of chapter 5.
Judith 5. Come on.
And let me get straight to the point here. Jumping down to verse number. Let me get the verse number. Let's see here.
And what is it on? What did it says?
It's basically stating that if they turn away from the Most High, then the nations have access to come against us.
Where it says, for they left the ways of their ancestors?
Yeah, I mean, it's going through it, but that's straight to the point. But I'll start there. Which verse you have there?
I'm at the 8th verse.
I'll start at verse 8.
A matter of fact, let's start at 7 because it talks about us sojourning in the Mesopotamia area. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people go into that, especially in the conscious community, of all the science and knowledge that came from Mesopotamia. So let's start there, if you will.
Yes, sir. Judith 5 and 7. And they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea.
Come on.
For they left the way of their ancestors and worshipped the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days.
Come on.
Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned to go into the land of Canaan.
And that they are the Israelites. It tells us that, for they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven, the true God, the God whom they knew. So they cast them out of the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. So the Hebrews were within the Mesopotamia area. Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned and to go into the land of Canaan. That land became Israel. Read.
Verse 10, but when a famine covered all the land of Canaan,
Come on.
they went down into Egypt and sojourned there while they were nourished and became a great multitude, so that one could not number their nation.
So that one cannot number their nation. And that's when Joseph and the Israelites came down into Egypt. That's right, during the time of the 7-year famine. And that 7-year famine is recorded within Egyptian history. I have the book. I have the book in its original papyrus. So there is proof that there was a 7-year famine, and this is when Egypt became great, because our family became the judges, okay? And we became what? The political figures who would set up the system to consolidate all of the grain that would feed the whole area for 7 years. And the kings of the Mesopotamian area began to bring all their diamonds and gold and resources into Egypt because of us. This is the height of Egypt's power. And this was before, folks, this is before we became the quote unquote, you would say, this great nation. Okay. This was before we went into the land of Israel. Okay. So think about this. We were in secular history called Asiatic or Semitic. Now we have all this history from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all going into the land of Canaan, folks. And listen, you'll have others say, well, there's no proof of Israelites during that time. See, that's semantics. That's a play on words. Before we went into Israel, folks, we were of the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We were Shemitic. There were no children of Israel at that time when we ruled Egypt. It doesn't mean Israelites didn't exist. We were small in number until we went into the land and began to multiply. Come on.
All right, jumping down to the point, verses 17 through 21.
Come on.
And whilst they sent not before they got their God, they prospered.
We prospered.
Because the God that hateth iniquity was with them.
Because the God who hated the sin of the Egyptians were with us. Read.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them.
When we went off and started dealing with the ways of the Gentiles, following other gods, witchcraft, astrology, burning sage, and all this other madness we're doing over here. Read.
They were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
And was what?
Led captive into a land that was not theirs.
We was led captive into a land that was not ours. Slavery, anyone? We fell to the Babylonians. Okay, we felt the Persian Medo Empire. On and on and on and on. Read.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies.
And our cities were taken by the enemies. The Romans took Jerusalem in 70 AD, Europeans. Read.
But now are they returned to their God and are come up from the places where they are scattered.
But now we are starting to realize we're Israelites returning back to our God and are come up from the places where we were scattered. This is what the Gentiles fear, folks. Us becoming Israelites does what? It takes away their power. Now that our people know that we're not predisposed to serving other people as better people, the curse reverses. See? And this is what the Gentiles have been what? Preparing for. They've been preparing for the day the children of Israel would come back to our God so that then they could show their true horns. Right? And it says they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem. Read.
And have possessed Jerusalem where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
For it was desolate. Read.
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God.
So if there's error in us, if we're in the community doing unlawful against the laws of God, read.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
And let's consider wherever they are, they'll fall the same way their forefathers fell. They're dealing with witchcraft, sorcery, evil, other gods, being inequitable one against each other, killing one another. Keep in mind, the same cycle will happen wherever these people live. Read.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
And let us go up and overcome them. Let's incentivize them self-destructing, which justifies us coming in, taking over, and destroying their children.
Right.
Allow them to self-destruct immorally, and by therefore, at that point, no hedge. Their God won't protect them, and then we can come in for the kill. Sounds familiar?
Let's fund their self-destruction and then look at what they do to the community and come off the back of it and gentrify.
Anything else on that, Elder Lawyer?
Last verse, 21.
Last verse. Now you got to check that out, folks, because we always complain at the end of it with true talking points. And people say, man, that's right, man, that guy's smart. Somebody come in and say, yeah, we've been regentified. They're coming in trying to replace us. Buddy, it's too late to talk about it, to say the obvious after it has happened.
Too late.
Then they come in after seeing the destruction, only to articulate it as and being revered as someone smart in our community. Man, he said regentified. Man, that's deep. That's wisdom. Now, the wisdom would have been him getting there beforehand to talk about the laws we must come on code with to avoid regentification. That would have been a wise man. Not someone who's educated and can look back at it and articulate the obvious. And you notice the people that are truly in control, they don't have much to say publicly. They'll just sit back and allow us to self-destruct. And you got these people on the other end, yeah, regentification. They come in, they do this, they do that, and be like, well, hold up. Something doesn't make sense. Something doesn't make sense here. How are they able to do the same thing over and over and over again, and there's no change amongst the people who are getting regentified? You would think in Chicago, if it happened in Chicago or Philadelphia, Chicago would get together and say, well, hold up, it just happened in Philadelphia. They're going to rename our whole area something else. Right? So let's get on code with God, because according to God, when the ruin happens, it justifies the Gentiles' destruction against us. That's wisdom, right? Thank you, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Just one more verse.
Come on.
Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation.
But if there be no sin amongst us, that means we, just like their communities, the Hasidic and Jewish communities, if we came together every Sabbath, shut down all churches and mosques and anything that's anti-God in our communities. If we all followed the 10 Commandments together, if we kept law amongst each other and respect one another's boundaries according to the civil law that was given to Israel, if we come together on holy days that God gave us out of the scriptures instead of the holy days the pagans have given us, and then we take the money that circulates our economy and spend it on our own carpenters, our own electricians, our own craftsmen, our own farmers. So I'm not talking about anything that isn't happening right now amongst other communities, folks. If we circulated the finances amongst us according to God's law, where would there be space for Gentiles to regentrify us? Mm-hmm. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, that means we're not acting a fool in amongst one another. And we destroy all the debaucherous behavior, anything that's against God's law. Shame is brought back to point out. Listen, that can be your choice, but we're not accepting that choice if it's against God's law. Go amongst a nation or go amongst a community who would accept your choice. See? But if there be no iniquity in their nation, read.
Let my Lord now pass by.
Let the Most High pass by.
Lest their Lord defend them and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
And eventually, we would become what? Read that last piece again of the lawyer verse.
Yes, sir. Verse 21.
Verse 21. And we shall be a what?
It says, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by. Lest their Lord defend them.
Read.
And their God before them.
Come on.
And we become a reproach before all the world.
And we will become a reproach before all the world. So if there be no iniquity in their nation, if they're showing family first, right? Let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be before them, and we become a reproach before the whole world. So if they show the example above us, they'll be placed above us. And then we'll be looking at their God as the true God or whatever. Maybe I should become a Buddhist. Maybe I should become this. Maybe I should become that. Why don't we just go back to the God who saved us out of Egypt and get on code with one another? Throw the pork, shrimp, crab, lobster out and say no more unclean food. Unclean makes us sick. Get our spirit together. Use the wisdom of the Bible as what? A code of conduct amongst one another. Folks, I'm going to tell you, what we're talking about is the way, folks. We're on a trajectory to hell. And think about it. A lot of people, they don't even realize when we're in the community and we start killing, when one kills another man under the laws of murder, folks, let me tell you, if that person died who was provoking it or was a murderer, when he opened his eyes after death, it's a spirit dragging him into hell. If you can only see the dark activity that happens when sin arises in a community. And it becomes a cycle.